This is Tuesday, January the 21st, 2014. My name is Paul.
My name's Andy.
And this is the Unpenned Show, live around the world. Here we go then. Yep. I feel fit as a butcher's you-know-what.
Good, it's good to have
really,
you back.
I do feel absolutely... 99%. Seasonally affective disorder doesn't make exactly... I saw the big yellow thing in the sky today.
Oh, yes.
I saw it. You know the one...
It's still there,
you know that bifable?
Yeah.
Do you remember the bifable? We call it the Bible. Starts with the word bi. It's got two levels to it.
Yeah.
And the baby level for the children talks about Jesus and his father. Okay, father and son.
And son, yeah.
The next level fable, of course, is the deity that we're asked at the next level to worship.
Yeah. The son.
And his father.
And his father, yeah.
So it's just a duality. It's just a bi-fable. It's just a story of father and son on this earth here, or a father and son as written in the stars. It's the same story.
Yeah.
Smaller for us, bigger for those that want and understand a bigger line of creation. We can ask ourselves and we can have a conversation and it serves no purpose. So where did we come from? Where did we actually come from? I mean, there are a number of arguments where we came from. Was it just evolution? Did we all evolve out of Africa and through many, many years, tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions? Did we all develop into the human beings we are today, and we all look different because of the habitat and the surroundings that we encountered while we expanded? Is that why we look different? And is that why the people of Africa look closest to the origin? Well, okay, let's put that on the maybe shelf. There's a second option here, isn't there?
There is.
There's a definite second option that fits in with what we've got today. And that is that a superior race did evolve. Now, where it came from, I'm not prepared to argue, because you don't know, and I don't know, so why would we argue? And as in this two-level fable, the story goes that they came down from the heavens, called themselves angels, and bred to make a slave race to serve their needs. Now, isn't that convenient?
Yeah.
Isn't that convenient that that story was written 2,000 years ago? And it put us in our place, that we were nothing more than animals to serve their needs. I'd tell a story like that if I wanted to be worshipped as a god, would you?
Yes, I would.
I really would say that, look, I'm not the same as you. I came from somewhere else. I came from the stars, and I've brought a story from the stars with me, and I'm going to enchant you with it. And you're going to be spellbound by my stories, because I'm going to build a world where I are always ahead of the race, because I'm going to dictate the race, and I'm going to do it through a never-ending series of wars. And I'm going to amass you guys to attack everybody I say, and once you've attacked them, we destroy their culture and steal everything of value, and you bring it back to me. And then I will tell you what's good for us and share it with you. Like that's ever happened. Welcome to our show. That's just what I've been thinking about over the course of today.
Yeah.
Lots and lots have happened over the past week. Our shows, we think, are completely different to everybody else's. But we could be caught out here because we don't listen to anybody else's doing. Not really.
Well, we do and we don't. We have a sneaky listen here and there where we can. I'm out of action at the moment. My computer's at the computer doctor's at the moment. I'm having hard drive problems, apparently. So I'm going to have to get my wallet out on Friday again.
You maybe need a bit of Viagra. Bit of Viagra for your hard drive problems.
I do.
Go to the Viagra shop. But we do. We actually think that our shows are a little bit different to everybody else's. Because, first of all, character assassination. Right, we don't assassinate the characters. Because we don't actually know any of them, do we? We know what we're shown.
Yeah.
And we don't believe what we're told. But what we're shown is what we see.
It is,
and we get very mixed up, don't we? Because the word audience Okay?
Good word.
The word audience is based on the word audio.
Audio.
The audio sense in the past. Okay? So your audio sense is your audience. Well, that means you're only hearing. Because if you could see as well, it'd be called visience. But it's only ever called audience. Because you hear what you want to hear. And for the purpose of the show, most people are blind. They can't see what it is they're being shown. Now, we sort of been on here for, I don't know. Been doing the radio shows now for coming up a couple of years, not quite actually, about a year and a half, just over, about 19 months, 20 months. And our apprenticeship was difficult because we didn't know exactly what it was we had and wanted to share.
No.
But we knew we had something. And we contacted lots and lots of names who were kind enough to give us the time for free.
We did.
And they came on. And after a few months, we realised that this wasn't what we had to share.
No.
Because they were coming on our shows and hijacking it. And we thought, well, yeah, I suppose we did invite them on. And we did invite them on because they've got interesting things to say.
And they're the guest.
Yeah, so it sort of got hijacked a bit, didn't it? And we realised that what we had to share back wasn't really fitting in with what they were doing. And over the past sort of 19 months, we've learned over time now that what we have to share is nothing like everybody else is really doing.
No. The two guests that we had on that stand out in my mind is Alan Aberdessa Green.
Yep.
Enjoyed him thoroughly because he engaged in the conversation in the questions we asked. And the other guy was Barry Trower. Because and neither of those guys really had anything to sell.
Not really. Alan was writing a book, but it was. You see, we're not frightened now to ask the questions that people then ask. And I think that's why we actually don't get many replies. I mean, we all know what's going on with TPV in the fact that it's in chaos. We all know that there's more to know about it. And I'm not here to tell you what that is. I'm here to tell you nothing more than TPV is having its own troubles. And it's clearly not run by David Icke, is it? It's clearly not run by David Icke. It's clearly run by people whose names we've not really heard before. Okay, he says in his latest video, he says that it's the accountants that control it.
Yes.
Well, the bean counters control everything.
They do.
Because this is a banking world. Now, let's just hypothetically carry on with that sentence one step further. If accountants are involved, what are accountants interested in?
The money.
Profit.
Yeah.
Profit. So, have we actually just seen an example that David Icke is struggling with, where if David Icke's a prophet, they want pain?
Yes, they do.
Is that what's happened? Have we seen what's happened over the years many, many times? Have we just seen an example of that? I've seen some of the programmes on TPV, and I'm going to tell you, I don't think a lot of those people associated with TPV are awake. I think they might be aware, but I don't think they're awake. No. You see, there are many, many radio stations around the internet. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay? And all these radio stations preach togetherness, unity, okay? Acceptance, live and let live. And over time, they all fall to pieces, don't they? Because they can't get on.
No.
So the presenters are presenting a world that they can't live in. You see, this is... I don't want to do this in the way... I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to do it.
Do it anyway.
We asked Sonia to come onto our show last year before TPV launched.
You did, yes.
And she said she would come. And she gave me a mobile phone number and replied to me my email as well, saying that she would be delighted to come on. So, a week later or so, because she said she was busy over the weekend, a week later, I mailed her, and she never replied. So I had the mobile phone number, so I rang it, and it went to voicemail. So I left a voicemail, and nothing. So a couple of days later, I thought, I guess she's busy, she's all tied up. So I mailed her and said that if she was busy, she would just let me know so I wouldn't pester. Nothing. So I left a second voicemail. Nothing. Okay. Spotted, was it yesterday or was it Sunday? I spotted on my Fight Book page. She was asking for suggestions and contacts of what is the way forward. So I thought, Aye, for a penny and for a pound. I'll message her. See if we can get her to perhaps reply to us this time. Because I truly believe that we do have a different way of looking at the world that can make sense to a few people.
Mm-hmm.
And at the moment, the alternative truth, and by God it is, it depends who you're talking to, it's got a different flavour wherever you go, but the alternative media are still busy doing the same things that haven't worked. Now, we've been around this about 5 years, haven't we?
We have, yeah.
And they're still doing the same things that haven't worked. They're still playing professional commentators on a boxing match. Because that's what it is.
It is, yeah.
Okay, the news is a boxing match. Mm. Which version have you got? Which version have you got? I've read this, I've read that. Let's come to dis, cush, right? Dis, negative.
Yeah.
Cuss, offend.
Mm-hmm.
Discussions.
Yeah.
Let's have some discussions and fight, shall we?
Mm.
Over what we've just heard from somebody else. This is infighting. And this isn't going to help, is it?
Nope.
No. When I see somebody fighting with another on Fightbook, I know they're not awake, because it serves no purpose. What are you trying to win? Why are you trying to win it? Do we never learn that listening is the key to hearing who and what somebody is? Because the more they type, the more you learn.
Mm-hmm.
And as long as you let them go and say, carry on, they'll give up who they are all day while thinking that you're getting something from it. I opened with a clip from Chicken Little, 1943, a Disney cartoon. If you haven't seen it, I'll make sure it's below the YouTube video that will be created tomorrow. And it's edited by me. It's not that. It lasts for about 8 or 9 minutes. And that was just a little edit. And the reason why I did that little edit is because the fox himself buys himself a psychology book to catch the chickens. He actually reads and quotes from a book of psychology. And I want to talk a little bit about psychology. Not that I'm experienced in it, but I'm old enough to see it for what it is. Now, we teach our 16-year-olds at school, we give them an option, 15, 16, to choose psychology as an exam subject. How on earth can they actually study that?
At that age.
Because they don't have any life experience.
No.
They're learning about things that they haven't experienced. It's a bit like going to... I laughed at this. It's a bit like going to Barclays Bank, and I'm old enough, and I'm introduced to the business account manager, who's 22. Right? Mm. He's the business expansion manager. He's the business expert. Mm. He's on hand to help me expand my business. And he's not even run a bath. He probably lives with his mum.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. But because he's got a bit of paper that says he's the in-branch business consultant, he truly feels equal to me. Now, I'm not fighting for equality with anybody. But he can't be on every level, can he?
No.
He can only ever tell me how the bank might help and get paid.
Yeah.
He's only a salesman.
Mm.
He's not a business expert.
No.
In other words, I have to answer his questions to get something from the bank that he tells me is very helpful to me, and he gets paid.
Yes.
Brilliant, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's helping me while paying his own wages. Mm. Genius.
And it'll be just down to the computer says yes or no. Anyway,
of course it will be. Of course it will be. It's always been that way.
Yeah.
But that was an example of what on earth are we doing teaching 15, 16-year-old psychology? Mm-hmm. You're teaching about a way of understanding life that they've not experienced.
Not experienced, no.
You're teaching them to think in a way that I question its validity. I really do question its validity. Because in our heads, we have thoughts that we're prepared to share. And then we have thoughts that we can't share. Mm. Because they're not for sharing. Or maybe they are. Because that's a psychologist's job. Now, I'm saying the word psychologist, but I don't really call them that, do I? What do I call them?
Spycologist.
They're a spycologist, aren't they? And this is a science, and it's a quack science, that came about in the 20s and 30s. Really took a hold and came up with the chemical imbalances in your brain that there's no test for. They can't test and prove that there's a chemical imbalance in your brain. But let's have a go and see if these tablets work, or we'll try this talk therapy. I'm not an expert and I don't know. But the one thing I do know is that psychologists at 20-something years old, they have to follow a certain method of talking to you. And they've got boxes to tick. And it goes along the lines of, do you sometimes feel suicidal? Do you sometimes think about doing harm to yourself? Do you sometimes think about doing harm to others? Do you sometimes have dark thoughts that other people would consider unusual? And the psychologist is ticking the boxes as you say whatever your answers are, because she's being trained that you either say yes and talk to her, or you say no, but you wouldn't be sat there if you didn't have a problem. So she ticks yes all the way through, because she knows you wouldn't be there if you didn't have a problem. So now she can say these thoughts are not good for you, and I'm glad you've come to talk to me today, because to continue to talk to me means I can help you. She'll never once admit, I have those thoughts as well. She won't, you see, because you've given something and got nothing in return, have you? Right? You've made yourself less than.
Yeah.
Because she's made you feel that that's not normal. It's not normal to have these thoughts. But well done you for coming to talk to me. And there's the line, isn't it? There's the line that we can't cross. We can't divulge the thoughts and the dreams that we have. We can't say, I dreamt last night the most horrific dream, and I don't know where it came from. I don't know how it got in my head, because I don't think those things. I don't want to dream those things, but these things creep in my head, and I wonder where they come from. And a psychotherapist would say, but I know what could be making that happen. Get your tablets, kids, because we're coming for you. Get your tablets, kids, because we're coming for you. Story number 1, depression. Depression. Almost half the people, acknowledged that they have been suffering or are suffering from depression.
Yeah.
Now, we don't read the news stories as if they're true. And I wish everybody else would get the hang of this as well. We actually look at news stories and watch what reactions are achieved by those that read them, don't we?
We do, yeah.
Because that story is printed by free from the Mail Online for us to look at. Now, at this point in time, there's no money in this story, because the Mail have had it written and uploaded, or published and uploaded, onto the internet. And we get to read it for free. So where is the reward in this story? Who and how is somebody getting paid?
Yes.
These are the questions that we're prepared to ask guests. Where'd you get your money from? What's your past experience? And then we can ask the really tricky ones. How often do you lie to yourself? And anybody who says, I don't, there's your first one.
Yeah.
You ask anybody on an internet radio station or a TV programme, whatever it is, whatever show that they're putting on, you ask anybody involved, the more lead members of the cast, you ask any of them, what's the first thing you do when the show's over? Do you go find out how many was watching? No. There's your second one. There's your second one. And then your third one. Did we make any money? Do you actually work out if we made any money? No. There's another one. We don't do this for free unless it's a hobby.
Yeah.
Now, we treat this as a hobby, but not as an insignificant one. It's not that we don't focus and study and share, but we don't expect to be paid for it.
No, we don't. No.
And we don't want paying for it.
No.
Because that would hand over the independence of our show in a way that we would have to... well, if you've paid us once, why did you pay us once? Because I like so-and-so. So now I'm led to believe that that's popular. So if I want paying again, I'm going to have to perform that show.
Or variations on it.
If anybody tells you different, they're lying. But some people are very convincing liars because they don't know who they are. They believe it. They look in the mirror, mirror, mirror on the wall. Who is the fairest, kindest, most generous, most understanding and most tolerant of all? And it's me. It's me.
Well, the word tolerance got toll in it, so you know you're going to have to pay somewhere along the line.
But back to the Mail Online story.
Yeah.
Where's the finance in this? So far, there's no money in it, is there?
No.
So what are we doing?
They used to tell us they got it from selling newspapers and delivering newspapers.
But that's not true, is it?
It can never have been true, can it?
Well, it maybe was at one time, but it's not been true for a long time since we had the internet.
No.
So let's have a look at the bullet points. Bullet points. Thousands of adults asked if they felt depressed, with 45 saying yes. Is that normal or unusual? It's bloody normal, isn't it? Right, don't make it out to be unusual. We don't live in a world of forever summer, do we?
We don't, no.
We live in a world of ups and downs.
Yeah.
It's how you deal with those ups and downs. Usual. This is usual estimates. Usual estimates suggest 1 in 4 Britons have battled the blues. We've all battled the blues.
Yes, everybody.
We've all had
Not
failures
just
and
1 in 4.
disappointments.
Yeah.
Relationships break down. Jobs don't work out. People let you down. We've all had to face failure.
Yeah, even from kids when they turn around and say, "You don't love me anymore, mummy."
Exactly.
Even at that level, they've had a down moment.
But here we are.
Yeah.
Here's the third bullet point. Survey comes as government pushes mental well-being on NHS. So now we get an inkling what this is about. Take your tablets, everybody. It's completely normal.
It is, yeah.
Take your tablets, everybody. It's completely normal. You go see the psychologist, and they'll talk to you. But they won't fix you. Because they're not allowed to engineer a conversation to fix you. They've got to get you talking. Then they've got to say, how do you feel about that? How would you feel if that didn't happen? How would you feel if something different happened? What else could you do to change that situation? In other words, they're teaching you to fix you.
Yeah.
But that's not what you went for, was it? You went for the fix.
Yeah.
Okay, you don't want to do the fix yourself. You want them to do the fix for you. Next up, psychotherapist. The rapist psycho. Now you've got tablets. Completely normal. To get you through this life, yeah, taking tablets is completely normal. Soma. Soma. Scary, really, because we don't ever look at how we got here.
No, we don't.
We just accept we're here. Now, I was dating a girl a long time ago. No, maybe not long enough. This girl was taking sertraline. Now, I didn't know what an SSRI was, but I knew she was taking antidepressants, and she seemed absolutely normal to me. So I figured antidepressants were whatever she needed, doing the job. Didn't know any different. And I remember, and this stuck in my head, and I'm going to share this with everybody because it's important. It scared me. The day scared me completely, and I'll tell you why. Sertraline was what she was on, And I remember she got changed to citalopram, or citalopram, something like that. And I've told this story before, but I have managed to remember the names. And the very day that she changed from one little magic tablet to the next, the different magic tablet, she went nuts. We're talking about walking away from the world. We're talking about leaving everything. We're talking about throwing her whole life away. We were talking about a self-harm and a desire to wreck everything. The relationship, everything. She wanted to wreck it all and walk away.
Mm.
That was a scary day. And 24 hours later, back on the search lane, she was fine. I hope people pick up it's the change of the medication that did that. She was stable on one type of medication, but the change, and we're talking one tablet, sent her nuts. Now, you've seen the film Side Effects, haven't you?
I have, yes.
With Jude
Good
Law.
film, yeah.
And I've seen the film Side Effects. And let's talk a little bit about films, because I have questions.
Mm.
And that is that everybody I listen to, and I have not found an exception yet, and we've been doing this for 5 years, and in those 5 years, the information from every single one of the presenters that I've listened to has told me to switch the television off.
Yep.
They've told me to ignore the newspapers. They've told me to don't believe politicians and doctors and nurses and counsellors. In fact, they've tried to lead me into a world of isolated paranoia.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to go there.
No.
And I'm not bloody going there.
No, me neither.
But they've tried to lead me into a world of isolated paranoia that leaves me the option to go back to them for the next service.
Yep.
Because we are vehicles called personas.
Yeah.
And we like being serviced every day, don't we?
Mm-hmm. We certainly do.
We like being serviced. And we're so manipulable that we can think one thing one day, and because we like the presentation, it can be changed the day after.
Mm.
And do you know why they can do that? It's because we don't know who we are.
No.
We haven't got a clue who we are.
No. It's called soul searching, isn't it? And it takes a long time to search that soul, because it's...
But can you see how the presentations don't give us what we're looking for?
No.
What we're looking for is something solid.
Mm.
It's us.
Yeah.
It's us that we're looking for.
Yeah.
It's the ability to stand tall.
Mm.
It's the ability to say, I know who I am. And I don't need somebody else to tell me.
No.
I'm busy discovering who I am.
Yeah.
And the more I discover, the more confident and stronger I become.
Mm.
The more courageous I become. And the less worried about what everybody else thinks. And the first part is stopping the money chase.
Mm-hmm.
The second part is dropping the ego. Now, you need an ego, but you've got to strengthen it up.
You have, yep.
You've got to eat some grit.
Mm.
Toughen up your shell. People go on the internet for saviours, and everyone thinks it's spelled S-A-V-I-O-U-R. Listen to the word. Saviour. That's what you've gone on for.
Mm-hmm.
You've gone on for somebody to tell you something that you didn't know, that you find interesting, that you can share with others to make you look smart, and then tomorrow you'll do exactly the same thing again. Isn't that a little bit of a worry?
Yeah.
If you say to people,
It is a worry.
what is your number one intention from going on the internet? They'll give you Right? They'll actually give you the answer that you want to hear. I enjoy it. I keep in touch with my friends around the world, and I hope to learn something of value so I can wake up the sleeping masses. Who said they're awake? Who actually diagnoses that they're awake? Self-diagnosis, apparently.
When you're ready to rise up, you'll rise up. All the power you need is in your hands. Now look around you. Our financial systems have been hijacked by a generation of thieves. While you're working harder and harder for less and less, the game is being rigged against you. They're turning all of us into virtual slaves. Looters, at the heart of our financial system, are price-fixing our most precious resources. Food, water, energy, gold. Even the value of money itself is being siphoned away by high-level crooks in a giant mushrooming conspiracy of unstoppable corruption. They're robbing billions of people of trillions of dollars a year, folks. There is no need for austerity measures. There is no need for financial suffering. No need for poverty. There is no scarcity. We are simply the victims of a robbery of unimaginable proportions. We have been fed a lie so vast it oppresses all of humanity. The truth is, there is more than enough to go around. 60 years ago, productivity was increasing so fast, they predicted by today, entire families could live comfortably on the income of just one provider, working only 10 hours a week. They wondered what we'd do with all of our spare time. What happened to that dream? Turns out they were right. What took a full work week back then can be done in just 10 hours today. We have technologies that multiply our efforts 1,000-fold and connect us in ways they never imagined. We are now 100 times richer than in that great heyday of the 50s. We are heirs to a great bounty of prosperity. $70 trillion in the U.S. alone. Over $200,000 for every man, woman, and child. The only reason we don't experience this wealth is because it's being siphoned away by a corrupt criminal class. They loot through giant corporations, raising prices, lowering wages, stealing the fruits of our productivity. Where once whole families prospered with just one provider, now both parents work, delivering 8 times the productivity but struggling to make ends meet. They control the media using hot-button social issues to divide us, brother against brother, so we fight each other while they loot our sacred institutions. They make us fear too big to fail banks collapsing, but if they did, we'd suddenly recover the 8 times our income that's being siphoned away every single day. Don't give yourselves to these crooks who abuse you and enslave you, who steal your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, and what to feel. Let us burn these leeches off our backs. Let us replace their corrupt systems with better systems that benefit everyone. Let us reclaim the fruits of our productivity. Let us share our prosperity. We can do this now. We are the creators, and when we come together, we have the power to create whatever future we want.
We do, yeah. We have that inside us all, I think. And the reason I'm saying that is because I was thinking about a saying over the weekend that we've all used quite a lot, and that seeing is believing. And I don't know really when it came about, but that doesn't matter. I'm sure at some point we've all said that. And it was, the thing that made me think of it was the NASA. And the moon landings and all this, and we've seen it. We've seen it on the TV, so we believe it. And we've sent Hubble telescopes out into the universe. And we've seen the outer reaches of the universe, and there was a little snippet on Radio 4. I listen to Radio 4 quite a lot while I'm at work, so I have the radio on doing various bits and pieces. But it was interesting information about the Hubble telescope. And the Hubble telescope, we think, is a telescope looking out, and we can see the pictures that we've all seen on the internet of this galaxy and that galaxy, and stars exploding and imploding. And apparently those pictures that the Hubble telescope bring back to us are only an interpretation. They're not the actual thing that they see. It's an interpretation, and they add the colour and the CGI it. Mm-hmm. So, back to the seeing is believing. Let's go right back to when we were looking across the ocean, and we thought that ocean just tipped off the edge of the earth.
Well, we thought it was swallowing God's sun.
We did.
They thought the sun and Set were about to have their ritual fight.
Exactly.
The Set being the god of, the god of the stars, the deity of the stars was called Set, wasn't he?
Mm.
And that's why at home, right, we have, and still have to some extent, the older people call it a television set.
Yeah.
And there's only one of them.
Mm.
And the reason that it's called a television set is because if it was called a television offset, we would realise that it's doing what the devil always does.
Mm.
He takes something good, counterfeits it, and sells you back the copy.
Mm.
And the nighttime visions of Set are now delivered into our televisions, and we call them stars.
We do, yep.
And the local cable supplier throughout the UK and Europe is Sky.
It is.
It's marvellous,
It is marvellous how it's
But
worked.
they colour it in.
Yeah.
What you're saying is that they colour it in.
They colour it
and
in.
they tell you what you're seeing.
This is what it looks like.
Yeah.
But they're saying this is what it might look like. They don't know. And I'm going back to take it a step further on. When we were watching the Ocean's Report, Galileo suddenly appeared. And Galileo with his telescope, and he said, "This is how it is." And apparently he copied and pasted that from some Arabs that came to him with some information, and they'd already done
But how we started was,
yeah.
we came from the stars.
Mm.
We're the original stars.
Yeah.
And we know things that you don't know.
No.
And we're going to share them with you if you serve our needs.
Exactly.
That's surf.
Serve us.
Surf. Serve. We go on the internet. What's supplying our internet? Servers. What are we doing? Surfing. Right. It's so ridiculously
serving
easy.
our masters.
We're serving ourselves up here.
We are, yeah.
They're serving us up a treat. And we're giving everything away.
Yeah.
Brilliant. The reason why we're not successful in any... because we don't want to be. Let's face this. If you've got a new story there that I butted in and you want to talk about seeing is believing, go on, and I'll join you in a minute.
I'm going to come to these people that we look up to like gods, and I was just going to go through the scenario. Galileo, and before him we had Leonardo da Vinci. Did he? Who did the paintings on the ceilings in all the Renaissance period? And it had angels and cherubs, and he painted God sitting on a cloud with a white hair and a long beard. And this is before we'd even... and all we'd done was look up at the clouds. We couldn't even fly. We'd not even got off the ground.
Well, they thought it was a sea.
Of course,
they thought it was another sea because it were blue.
As above, so below.
That's what they figured out, yeah.
So we progress on from that. Seeing is coming back to the seeing is believing. And we got into aeroplanes, and we got into the clouds, and there was no man with the white beard up there.
Yeah, but they're still called sea. See in. See in, look in. But seeing. We've got SEA and SEE. Okay? Now, what are airplanes called? Right? Well, they transfer cargo.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what we use to transfer things. We go in our cars. And what is it called? They're called cabins. Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, what do we have on the ships? Cabins. And what's the front of the plane where the boss sits? It's called a flight deck.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we've got on ships. And what do planes do? Well, they're another form of shipping. The sea in the sky is still there in the language.
It is, yeah.
What you're saying can still be proved because we still say it.
Yeah. And taking that to its next level then was our deities, our gods, or whoever you look up to, are then in the universe. And then, of course, we've gone into space. And I come back to the Hubble telescope, and we supposedly have looked out into space.
The universe, one verse.
Yeah. And come back to the people that rule us are invisible. The people that rule us are invisible. We don't get to see them. We never have done and we never will do.
But all the way to the top of the pyramid, they believe that too.
Exactly, yes. And that fits exactly with this story on the Mail Online. It says here, world's 85 richest individuals have as much money as 3.5 billion poorest people put together.
And we see that.
And we see it.
And we believe
it.
And we allow 85 to impoverish 3.5 billion.
Mm-hmm.
I played Rise Up there on purpose. Because for all the economic development, for all the technological advances that we think we've been party to, we haven't been party to at all.
Nope.
We're at the bottom, you and I.
Yes,
and
that is for sure.
We're not going to get away from this.
No.
We're not going to escape this. No. And today's modern world isn't for us dinosaurs. What we have to offer this modern world is going out of fashion awfully quickly.
Mm-hmm.
It is out with the old, in with the new. It always has been.
Yeah.
And when we get to our ripe old ages, we see the changes. And we understand that these changes are part of evolution. But we talked about it last week. It's not evolution, because we're not getting better. We're getting sicker.
Mm-hmm.
We believe we're getting better, but we don't see it, but we do believe it. So now, we do believe what we don't see.
Mm-hmm.
Or we do see what we don't believe.
Exactly, yes.
It's ridiculous. Mm. Look how much of a mess we're all in. Every generation getting sicker than the last.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody taking responsibility for the lives they live. Be lame. It's everywhere.
Yeah, it is.
We can't understand any of this in a full context of this is how it's always been.
Mm-hmm.
You've just figured it out.
Mm-hmm. It is.
I mean, look at the cars we're driving. The cars we're driving are using technology that is over 100 years old. And all we've done with the cars over the past 100 years is improve the gadgets. We've pimped it.
Yeah.
We've put more things on to make it more luxurious. But we haven't changed the base technology. So everything that we know should be available to us, which improvements in technology and resource management and invention, we know in our hearts that we're living in an old-fashioned oil-based system. We know, without anyone telling us, that there are different things out there. And they're going to allow us access to solar and wind. But at a pace where they don't lose a penny.
Mm.
The development is slow and painful. That the businesses that are relying on the old technology, they want to maintain and improve their profits while this changeover is taking place.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
It certainly does, yeah.
So the development of it is so painfully slow.
Mm.
Because they want every penny out of the old technology.
Yeah.
Until we've all changed on to the new technology. And then they'll jack that up. And think about it. Solar and wind. Okay?
Mm.
Well, the technology, or the method that we're going to use to provide our new energy requirements are being supplied free. But we won't get it for free.
No.
You know that, don't you?
Mm.
We won't get it for free.
Oh, no.
They'll put a meter on it.
They will.
And we'll have to pay.
Charge.
But the meter will be different.
Yeah.
The meter will be different this time.
Mm.
It will be an allowance.
Yes.
In other words, you can have that much for free if you buy the equipment, which won't be yours. It'll be like your skybox.
Mm.
You rent it.
Yeah.
You can't own anything. Eventually your solar panels won't belong to you. And if you've got a windmill, that won't belong to you. You'll rent it.
Mm.
Over time,
Yeah.
you'll pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
But it still won't be yours.
No.
Do you see what I mean? You'll have solar panels and a windmill. And perhaps it will supply the majority of your energy once we improve upon these things. But you'll pay for them over time with the rent. And your allowances will be what has been dictated you can have. And if you use more than that, you'll have to pay for that as well. Well, you do realise that the controlling system now doesn't have to do anything, because they get it all for free. It's a bit like us investing in the railways. So there are railways. And it's a bit like us investing in the stock, the rolling stock. It belongs to us. And then we have to pay to use it.
Yeah.
Brilliant, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
The government is also called an administration.
Yeah.
And if it was to look after the needs of the nation, it wouldn't have the word ration in it, would it?
No.
Because it's to administer the ration. Because we're just learning. We're slaves, aren't we? And 2,000 years ago, we were slaves then as well, weren't we? And nothing's changed except our surroundings. And our surroundings have made us soft and weak.
Yeah.
Because we're fully domesticated now, aren't we?
We're comfortable.
This is the trick, isn't it? They've managed to engineer a society that can keep everybody just over broke.
Yeah.
Just over broke. There was a time where we could grow our own food, build our own houses, and sell our own labour.
Yeah.
Can't now.
No.
No food, no houses. We don't find our own water.
No.
We don't provide our own energy needs.
We don't.
We don't school our own children.
We don't.
And we don't repair anything that's broken.
No.
Including ourselves.
Yeah, we've lost. When you look at it in those terms, we've lost a hell of a lot, haven't we?
We've given it all away for comfort.
This so-called democracy and freedom and Western freedom that we've got, it's again, seeing is believing.
It hurts though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
You see, if a nation values anything more than freedom, you ask people to define freedom. Ask people around you to define freedom. They'll struggle. Then ask them to define love, and they'll struggle. Then ask them who they are, and they'll struggle. Isn't that the basis? Isn't that what we all think we are? We think we're free. We think we're good to love. And we think we know who we are.
We do, yeah.
It's rubbish.
It is rubbish, but we believe it.
If a nation values anything more than freedom, it will lose its freedom. And the irony of it is that if it is comfort or money that it values more, it will lose that as well. William Somerset Maugham, 1941. You know, we played Chicken Little from 1943.
40s, yeah.
Now, I stopped halfway through a sentence that I didn't mean to, but I do it all the time. All our presenters, without fail, at the moment, I mean, there will be one out there, but not one that I've heard, tells me to not watch television. Tells me Hollywood is poison. Tells me the music is satanic. It tells me the media, newspapers are liars. The doctors have been paid off to give me tablets to make me poorly. The nurses don't know what they're doing, and they dehydrate people to kill them. The judges are busy messing about with young boys, and they're in the hands of the judiciary that they've had to do who knows what to serve. Who knows what they've had to do to serve them. And the barristers, the legal profession, they're running the whole show for their own private profit.
Yep.
Paints a dark world, doesn't it? You see, I can find information that may be true, but it doesn't apply to the majority. It applies to the minority.
It does, yes.
It doesn't apply to the majority.
Yeah.
You're trying to find the bad people. Good. What are you going to do when you found them? What are you going to do? So busy looking at what's gone, aren't we?
Yeah.
So busy dissecting The SHIT they gave us yesterday. So busy gobbling it all up.
Yep. And there must be... We've asked this question before. There must be plenty of people out there.
There's loads.
Tons of people that have got brains inside their heads that can make a solar panel for next to nothing. Or we must have the capability to do it.
We have.
And
we have. How many people do you know who are making it privately, independently? No one.
No one.
Because we've forgotten how to make things.
Yeah.
But it's also difficult for us to get the parts. But it's not impossible.
No, I tried to make, a wind turbine, but I needed a motor. But then the motor becomes a problem because we need to... Most motors are DC, and then you've got to turn it into AC for your... Because we run on AC. DC's all right if you've got DC lights.
Everything's difficult.
It is. And this
since
is
when
the
did
thing.
that stop us?
But yes, I know what you mean. But then the money comes in, doesn't it? And then the technology's patented. And if you can't buy this, you can't buy that. I think you even struggled buying some. We were looking for some magnets or something for something, and we couldn't even buy the magnets.
We live in a controlled environment. We know that.
Yes,
but at least you and I don't get too depressed and down about it.
No, not
we
anymore.
accept it for what it is.
You used to do.
Yeah, it hurts like hell, but
does,
you accept it for what it is. And you question those around you who are still shouting and bawling at the world. Because that's a sign of madness, isn't it?
Yes,
if you really want to alienate yourself, if you really want people to think you've gone nuts, start shouting at the world. Start shouting at things that you don't really understand, that you can't change.
Yeah.
And start realising that this is the version of the level of insanity that you're going to stay if you don't actually look out for yourself. This will make you poorly and kill you 10 or 15 years early.
Yeah.
You've got to be calm about this. You've got to be calm. There are a lot of people above our station who know what's going on.
Yep.
And lots of those people are talking on the internet just like we are. But we don't access them. We don't access them. Some of the TED Talks are fantastic. They really are. Now, I don't know if those TED Talks are designed to program people or not. But I can tell you one thing, they don't program me.
No.
They don't. I listen to them, and I pick out what I think is important. I don't see vicious, nasty people doing the TED Talks. The LSE website, that's the London School of Economics. I listen to the guests and the speakers and the questions they have on. They are very good. The London School of Economics, there's one about fractured fracking, or whatever it is, fracking. Well, there's a fracking one on there from about a month or two ago. And they've got a BP guy there, and another guy, all energy, heads of energy companies.
Yeah.
And the questions that their audience are asking are making them squirm. It's very encouraging. So we mustn't think that all is lost.
No.
Because the darkness is in control. Because the darkness is only in control if you don't find the light. This is your light, and it's your path. And if you keep going down the dark, deep depths of where evil lives, you'll be sure to find it. If you go find evil every day, you'll be sure to live that way.
Yeah.
And you'll never find what it is that is a version of being okay with the world. It's what you're looking for. Because until you've figured out who you are, what you are, and how you're going to affect the world, why are you going looking for the evil? Because it wants you to come and find it.
Yeah.
It's playing hide and seek with you. Don't play with it.
No.
Don't play with it. It's going to make you a promise that it never keeps. And it's going to teach you everything you didn't need to know right after you finish learning it.
Yeah.
Good people is what we need to find.
It is good people we need to find, yeah. And
the stage has been set by God and the devil. And in our heads, the Punch and Judy show carries on, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
Who are you going to let win? You going to let the dark side win? You really are? You're going to shout with the world? And you're going to think that everybody's wrong except you? Is that what you're going to do? You're going to build a reality all around you that says everyone's wrong except you. Good luck with coping with that.
Good luck with that, yeah.
Tuesday, the 21st of January 2014. My name's Paul.
My name's Andy.
This is the Unpenned Show, live on Awake, Blog Talk and the Shaziz Network around the world.
Yep. And I'm just going to take a little verse out there from Pink. Take a little walk with me now. Let's just take a little walk back.
Yep.
Because we were talking about the films and the films that we've listened to and watched, and then shared what we've got out of the films. Because we don't see the films now as entertainment anymore, do we?
Well, not just.
No, not just as entertainment.
We don't love them all.
No.
But we love some.
Yeah. We talked about side effects.
Yes.
With Jude Law and Catherine Zeta-Jones in.
And you see the struggle of complexities of life.
Mm-hmm.
The trying to do the right thing. Because he thought he was doing the right thing.
Yeah.
But it turned out a disaster.
It did.
It turned out a disaster. But that's just the outline of the film. What you picked up, and what you asked me to watch it as well, was the little nuances in there. The camera's focused on the name of the drug.
It did.
The camera focused on what the drug did. And it showed us what the drug did. And it showed us how the effects of these drugs are not tested properly. And where they are tested, the results are hidden. And the pharmaceutical companies are prepared to put a drug on the market because they think it'll be popular. And they gamble that it's going to be popular on the way up.
Yes.
And then they know when the case is going to break that this drug could be to blame for this side effect. But the word side is to throw you off. Because it's an effect of taking the drug. And when a big court case might be going to surface, they then sell, don't they? So they make money on the way up.
Yeah.
Then on the way down.
And
then buy it back again at the bottom.
Buy it back cheap.
It's all about the money.
Yep.
There are so many films that we now get 100% more in.
But these directors and writers and screenplay writers out there, they call
it's the script writer. We never meet those.
No, and it's the people, the producer and the editor,
but it's the script writer who we don't know.
But that little team that puts that together, when we've sat and discussed it, do they know? Do they know what they're doing? We think they do.
Yeah, they do.
And are they trying to tell us something? Yes, they are trying to tell us something.
Well, everything that I see decodes that way.
Yeah.
It says, Paul, if you can decode this, you will change the way you live, the way you speak, who you associate with, and how you value your time in your life. If you can understand this is the message that we're giving to you, you will benefit. Learn or lose.
Learn or lose. And take your own power back. Now, I've had a little instance with the, what shall I call them, armchair lawyers, these debt recovery companies.
Yep.
Because it's coming up to New Year, January, it's always difficult in January. There's so much little money about, and these big companies know this, and they don't pay. They say the bills. They say they pay the bills on time, but they don't. They lie.
Well, we know they can't pay their bills unless we pay them.
They do, and I had a little run in, and a company wanted to charge me £40 for late payment and interest on a late bill, and I was late with the bill because people were late paying me, and so it gets kicking the can down the street. Somebody else picks it up somewhere down the line.
They can't pay until you pay.
Exactly, but I was in two minds as to whether to pay it or not, and I thought, no, I'm not. I'm good. So I rang them up, and I challenged them. I said to them, right, I'm prepared to go to court and let a judge sort this out. I won't bore you with the whole story, but I had conflicting letters, and one letter said one thing, the other letter said another thing, and then a third letter said another thing. So I said, right,
they were written by somebody who was just happy to threaten you.
Yes.
There was no... They didn't... Did they even know what they were doing?
No.
But because they never experienced any sort of comeback, they just write them.
They just write. But I said, right, I'm prepared to go to a judge and let him decide whether your letters have been interpreted properly. or whether I've interpreted them wrong. I want his point of view.
Well, they said
Set me a court date.
You've got till such and such a date to pay.
Yeah.
And they wrote to you before that date.
They did.
And put charges on
Yeah.
the fact that you hadn't paid.
No, I had paid. I'd paid before the date, and then the letter came to say that they'd got me money, but they were still taking out the charges.
Right, okay. I got that slightly the wrong way around.
But they'd not put it in the original letter.
Right.
That to say if you don't pay by the such and such a
They were
date.
chancing their arm, weren't they?
They were after another.
They were just chancing their arm because people are so soft.
Yeah.
And so unable to stand up for themselves. We've forgotten.
We've forgotten.
We've talked about how to deal with phone calls, haven't we?
Yep.
We've talked about it many times.
Mm-hmm.
And you really should actually sort of have a little bit of fun on the phone.
Yeah.
If you want to fight and shout and bawl and fall out, there's laws coming to stop you doing that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, the banks are already starting to instigate the laws, aren't you?
Mm.
If you're offensive, if you offend somebody on the phone, okay, the call is being recorded, and if that person claims that you've offended them in some way, and they couldn't work for the rest of the day, they had to go home because you heard them, then you're going to be in bother.
Yeah.
Okay, you're going to be in bother.
Mm.
This is how soft we now are.
Yep.
Talk about a soft centre. We now got a soft outside.
We have.
We really are jelly babies.
Yep. Yep.
We really are jelly babies, I'm telling you now.
Yeah. We talked about an ego earlier, and you do need a little bit of an ego. It's not a bad thing to have a little bit of an ego.
You've got a sense when you've been attacked.
You have this shell that
yeah,
you've got.
Yeah, but it doesn't break easy.
It doesn't, no. You've got to take the knocks and blows.
I'll take some bloody breaking, I'll tell you.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not saying I'm bulletproof, but I'm the most bulletproof I've ever been.
No.
There are very few people now that could actually say something that would physically hurt me. I'm saying physically, I mean mentally hurt me. Because I'm okay. That if somebody does launch an all-out attack on me, I just listen carefully.
Yes.
Because hurt people. So you think, how have I hurt them? What have I said? I've said something to hurt them, which is why they want to hurt me.
Mm-hmm.
So you just say, how did I hurt you? They're completely disarmed. They're completely disarmed.
Yep.
Because now you've just taken away all the anger. Because you said, how have I hurt you? How have I hurt you, and how can I put that right?
Yeah.
Well, no, they want to fight.
Yeah.
They don't want you to apologise. They want to make you feel stupid and small, and they will go to the lengths of lies, and they will use lots of lies. Because remember, when you're in a fight, right, there's no rules. Now, this isn't sexist, but in my experience, you cannot fight with a liar.
No.
If somebody's prepared to say, you said so-and-so on such a date, and you blooming know you didn't, you can't fight that. So don't get yourself into a situation where you do get accused of that. So no matter who's attacking you, just say, how did I hurt you? And then you can apologise.
Yep.
Job done.
But
they hate you for it.
They do, yes, but that's... And
they
that's
want to crush you.
Yeah,
they want to beat you.
That's another instance of you taking your power back.
Well, that's right. You just do.
Yeah, they've tried.
Well, we talked about that on the phone. When they say we've got some questions for you, so that's absolutely fine. Every question you've got for me, I'll ask you first. You phoned me. How much are you getting paid for this phone call today? Who do you work for? Data Protection Act. That's absolutely fine. It works two ways. You understand that, don't you? You need my name and my address and my date of birth, and I need yours. They say, well, you're not having yours, so I can't do business with you then. The terms and conditions are not equal. In other words, you're asking me to agree to your terms and conditions, but you won't agree to mine. Why on earth would I do business with you? I'm judged by the company I keep, and my company requires you to answer my questions equal to... you answer mine, I'll answer yours.
Yeah.
And they say, well, I'm so-and-so from British Gas. I say, no, you're not. No, you're not. You live in a house just like me. And to protect my data, I need to know who am I giving it to. Whom am I giving it to? So I need your name, your address, your date of birth. We can't have it. So, well, British Gas can't talk to me. But I'm representing British Gas. So I'm representing my fish and chip shop. So who are you? And this causes lots of trouble.
It does.
And when people say we've got a few questions, say I'm not free right now, but I could be free if you're prepared to pay for my time. Somebody's paying you for your time, and you're taking mine. So how much do you get paid, and can we share? And how much per minute will you be comfortable paying? if we did this sort of thing, we would be a lot more successful.
Yeah.
The narrative of how we speak, who we speak to, who we choose to give our time with, who we trade with, and if it has value, is something that we say almost every week.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think anybody understands what we're saying here.
Nope.
If you always do what you've always done, you'll always stay where you've always been.
Yeah.
You won't move along. So if your group of friends are the same, they're not going to let you move along, because there'll be less of your friends the more you change.
Yeah. Yeah.
The more you change, the less they'll like you.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have to make a choice. Are you going to change back and be their friends? Are you going to tell lies? Or are you going to say, I'm on my own journey, and if you're not coming, I'm going anyway.
Yeah.
I may be sometime.
And going with that, I've got less friends now than I did have before, but I've realised
But
now...
how many friends did you have?
Exactly. They weren't real
You
friends.
see, small fish are called fry.
Yeah.
Okay, small fish are called fry. And fry and end, okay, makes the word friend.
It does, yes.
Well, we've discovered something over the past 2 or 3 months, haven't we, about the lies?
Yeah.
And it's really changed our perspective on the window of the world, hasn't it?
Yep.
About how people tell lies.
We do it.
And they don't mean to.
You know, you do
and
it
they're trying to be kind.
Knowing. Yeah.
And the chaos it causes. Why does everyone tell me, don't read this, don't do that, don't do that, don't read that, don't contact them, don't... What on earth is it that you're scared of? What is it that you're scared of that I'm going to discover that you don't want me to find out? I want everybody to be successful. I want everybody to roll up to my shop in brand new cars. With expensive suntans and ear-to-ear smiles. I want them to be everything they want for themselves. And I want them to be proud. Because if they got money in their pocket and a smile on their face, they're going to come and spend money with me.
Yep.
The system doesn't want that, does it?
No.
It wants us depressed, suppressed, oppressed.
Yeah.
So they can express and try and impress. To make an impression on us that is a world of darkness, desperation, dim, and dangerous.
And looking...
And it's rubbish because it's not true.
It isn't true. And looking to other people's success. Looking at other... Always aspiring to be like somebody else. Oh, look at them on... what am I thinking of? Simon Cowell's programme. What's it? X Factor.
Right.
Look, and all these people queue up and they want to aspire because they want to be like Celine Dion and they want to be like this.
But they're parasites off the singers.
Exactly, and all you're doing...
All right, I mean, in one sense, we're the hosts on this radio station right now.
Yeah.
Well, a host, okay, will attract a parasite. How offended will our listeners be if I say, on one level, you're parasiting? Don't be offended. Just understand how the language works. It's all written in our language. The fact that you and I can... We laugh our heads off, don't we?
Yeah.
I mean, even the word agreed. Do you remember that? Agreed.
Yep.
It's so simple as agreed. All right? You can say yes and no, but when you say agreed, all right? It's a business deal, isn't it?
It is a business deal,
because it's an agreement that you're going to sign, isn't it? Yeah? It's an agreement that you're going to sign.
And a contract.
And it's greed that does it.
You want the £1
million
contract. But it's your greed
that does
contract.
it. It's your greed that does it.
Yeah.
That's why you fought you agreements.
Yeah.
Because you think you're both going to benefit. But the word contract or contractor, well, which are you?
Yeah.
Are you contractor or contracted? Because contractor gives you the opportunity to become more.
More, yeah. Or, because it's got the word or in it.
It could go either way.
Yeah.
But contracted is made smaller. You've been made smaller because you've been contracted. You see, so the world contracts these X Factor singers. Oh, Simon Cowell contracts these. He becomes the contractor. It could go either way. You could win or lose on this investment. They become the contracted. But Simon's not the host. He's the parasite.
He is.
He parasites off that person's appearance
and ability.
Yeah, that's right.
And if you had that ability to start with, that's a shortfall in your. And we put it down to confidence, don't we? And we say this word a lot, confidence.
But it's got the word confide in it.
It has, yes.
Confide.
Back to the psychologist.
Exactly.
Who are you going to go to tell you that you need the confidence?
Well, we don't know how to fix ourselves.
No.
We can't remember.
We can't remember, no.
Remember. Put back together. We can't do it anymore.
No.
We've been fragmented. We're like a computer that's 10, 15 generations old.
Yep.
We're like copies from 300 years ago that don't even know which way's up. And we don't even know what questions to ask. Why is Monday called Monday? Why is Tuesday called Tuesday? Why is a second called a second? Why is a minute called a minute? We don't care to bloody know.
We don't. And because of that lack of confidence as well in people, that schools knocks out of you. School knocked the hell out of me. And it wasn't until I got into working and a job of work that I realised I did have the abilities.
Yes.
I'd been told I didn't have.
Isn't this the fun part of actually breaking out of your shell?
Could try
breaking
harder.
out of your box.
Yeah.
At our age now, it's taken far too long for us to figure this out. Everybody that we listen to, they're not better than us, are they?
No.
They're not actually better than us.
No better.
They're not. And that's such a revelation.
They might have read a few more books than you.
They might know different things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, but that's all.
That's all, yeah.
It doesn't make them better.
No.
It makes them interesting. Now, interest is something that you get off an investment.
It is.
So, are you going to spend or invest your time, and are you going to get any interest from that investment?
Yeah.
I find that interesting. But did you get anything of value? Did you get anything out of it? Well, no, I just listened. I've now learned a little bit about history that I didn't know. Well, that's not going to pay gas bill.
No.
That's not going to pay bills. But I find it interesting. No. It was entertaining.
Entertainment.
This is different.
It is.
This is different.
Back to the films again.
Exactly.
Do you find it entertaining, or do you actually get something out of it?
I was right. Did you get something that makes your life
Yeah.
more successful?
Yeah.
Do you get something that makes you feel you have understood something more? Did you get a positive out of there that you can take and share and try and empower other people to see it that way too?
Yes.
Or are you busy spreading darkness and telling people what to do all day?
Yeah.
Now, we live in a world where people want to go to the supermarkets.
Yep.
So they're going to go. We live in a world where they want to watch TV. So they're going to watch TV. We live in a world where people cannot stand silence. They will not accept silence. They have to have something to fill the gaps in.
Yep.
So how do you get in? You just see if they're interested in you.
You do, yeah. Yeah. And that word interest... going back to the little article we read out about Mail Online, world's 85 richest individuals. On the front picture here is Bill Gates. And I was just thinking about him. Yeah, he claims to have invented Microsoft and all this, that, and that.
Get out of debt free. I love this stuff. Get out. Right, go bankrupt now. Go bankrupt. Walk away. Start again. Keep out of debt.
Keep out of debt. Yeah.
Right. There is no other way. The rest is troublesome, stressful.
Yeah.
Very, very rarely successful. You've never signed a contract. You've only signed an agreement. Go bankrupt. Walk away. Fix yourself. Fix your problems.
Fix yourself.
Keep your wife. Keep your kids.
Yeah.
Move on. And don't do what got you there again.
No, that's it.
Yes.
Have faith in yourself to be able to do this. I was just looking at the picture there, going back to Bill Gates on the, and yeah, he's a successful man. Yeah. We can go into the ins and outs of it, but I was just thinking about his company and my company. The difference between my company and his company is I'm the head of my company. I am the company. This is me. And when you look at Microsoft, you think, oh, Bill Gates. But it isn't, because there's no way he would have picked up a letter that we're asking him for money and telling him they were late. He would have just handed that to an accountant or to his solicitors, and he would have had to pay those people to do that.
We have to pay people to do everything we want.
Exactly.
That's why we see on here startups like let's do our own TPV. Let's do our own this. Let's do our own that. And what we need studio producers, a camera. No. Right. Nobody will do anything for nothing for long.
No, they won't.
It just won't happen.
It won't.
We don't live in a world where people hand over time for free.
No.
You can imagine one.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell me one could exist.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't right now, and it's not going to in the future.
No.
It doesn't. Before we go, you want to add anything on that?
No, just I was just going to go back to the be your own company, be your own ship, sail your own ship. If you can sing, if you can do somebody's accounts, if you can knit, if you can grow food, if you can do something, think of something you can do.
Well, there is lots that we can do.
There are.
But we don't want to do it.
No.
All right? And the thing is that you have to be liked. Okay? And you've got to like yourself first. If you're living a life of a lonely person, it's either because you want to be lonely, or it's because you're making people who are not attracted to you. They don't want to spend time with you. Now, I know people who can walk in a room and make it darker by just walking in. And I know that people, when those people leave, the room becomes lighter and brighter. It really does.
Yep.
We've talked about the word on.
Yeah.
The word on, in our language, if you put your jumper on, it's to give you warmth.
Warmth, yep.
If you put your light on, it's so you may see. So we know light and warmth is attached to the word on. So why would you go for less ons? You've been taught less ons make you bright, and more ons are dim. And we're not even smart enough to get that yet.
Nope.
And that's quite scary, isn't it? Let me tell you how this world works before we go. Let me tell you the biggest mistake that I think we're making. Imagine a school classroom. And it's an English class. And we've got Tommy, who's 6 years old. And his teacher is going through a spelling test. And he writes a word on the board. And the board is door. And the teacher spells the word door D-A-W. And Tommy puts his hand up and he says, Teacher, I don't think that's how the word door is spelled. And his teacher says, Tommy, really? Let's check it then. I didn't think I was wrong there. I'm pretty sure I'm right there, but let's check it anyway. And sure enough, the spelling is D-O-O-R. And the teacher says to Tommy, well done, Tommy. Thanks for pointing that out to me. Well done, you. Let's do the next word. Let's do the word for. And the teacher puts F-A-W on the board. That's for. Tommy's hands up again. Teacher said, I think you're wrong. I think it's F-O-U-R. And the teacher says, Tommy, I didn't know you were so good at spelling. Let's have a little check, shall we? And sure enough, after checking, it's found to be F-O-U-R. When the class finishes, Tommy, who's 6, has come to a conclusion that he's at least as good at spelling as his English teacher. And by all accounts, because people tell him, he's actually better at spelling than his English teacher. Now, this guarantees one thing. Tommy will not believe anything his English teacher says again. Tommy will, at 6, believe that his English teacher doesn't know and isn't good enough to do the job. Tommy, at 6 years old, will believe that he should be the English teacher and he could run that English class at 6 years old. And he'll never one time think that the English teacher might have made those mistakes to get Tommy to think that way. So you'll never learn any more English because he thinks his teacher's got nothing to teach him. My name's Paul.
My name's Andy.
And this is the last segment of the Unpenned Show live on Awake Blog Talk and the Shaziz Radio Network. Thank you for your time. We are always very, very grateful for it. all the links to my Facebook, your Facebook, Phil RVT Editor's Facebook, any show links that I've put. We've done well. We've done 2 stories. 2 stories. That's our usual standard, isn't it?
It is, yeah, about that.
To finish off what I was saying, the Freddie Mercury Great Pretender thing. We are living a life of pretend, and the biggest person that we're lying to is ourselves. And if anyone could put that into words for me in a way that it's more effective, I wish they could. I wish I had the education to tell you that staring in the mirror and admitting to yourself you're not the fairest of them all, and you do make decisions based on you being successful, and if others have to suffer, you do and are blind to their suffering because you feel you need it. This unity community, has it started? Do you buy the local paper? Do you know the next door neighbour? Are you helping out on old folk that doesn't have anybody else to help you? You going to council meetings? Be honest with yourselves. Be honest. And there it starts. Once you do the honesty thing to yourself. Some people can't do it. Some people can't admit that we want a pat on the head. That we want people to say thanks very much for trying to do the right thing. Some people don't understand that the word God is just the word good. It's your choice. You can believe in God or you can believe in good. But you have to believe in something. And the only thing you have to believe in is that you can do it. The story about Tommy and the school teacher wasn't wasted. And I'm going to finish it off by saying, because that's what politicians do. They intentionally make mistakes. They intentionally waste your money. They always have and they always will. And you know why? Because they can't do it anyway. They're not designed to do anything like this. They're designed to take our money away and keep it for themselves.
Yeah.
They're designed to create situations where they show us hardship, poverty, and badly dealt with situations. So we say, something must be done. Yeah. You guys are here not to cause this, you're here to fix it. And they say, we need some more money. That's what they do.
Yeah.
This is a never-ending game of how to take your money away.
The clue is in the title, isn't it? It's Her Majesty's government, not ours.
She's the head of the armed forces and the head of the. She sits
at the church.
It's hers, yeah. It's hers.
Yeah.
She's not hands-on with it anymore. We give her too much credit, but we don't sometimes realise that the power she has. You know, I have 2 books now that make the same claim, and if it was wrong, it would have been refuted. That she lays claim to 16% of the planet's surface, the majority being sea. Whether she does or she doesn't, she sure is the richest woman in the world that we can see visibly. And she is at the helm of the ship. She is the figurehead that we all see first.
Yep.
And when the ship of state does business around this wonderful planet, business that matters, she's the one that goes and makes the introductions and signs the paperwork. When she travels around the world, it's to sign paperwork that only she can sign.
Yep.
That's what it is.
Yep.
Nobody else has the power or authority.
Nope.
She's the CEO of the Crown.
She is.
And she wears it as a representative of the Crown. She is not the Crown, but she's the CEO.
She's the
figurehead.
Custodian.
The maintainer of the Crown. The keeping the seat warm. That's what she is. She's also the bloodline.
She is.
She is the number one bloodline that everybody wants to breed with. The ships of state. And each ship of state is separated by the borders.
Yeah.
And people still think we're being silly. The language game that we play, we only play it in small part every week, don't we?
We try to.
Because we know that people switch off and think it's rubbish. It's their loss. We've mastered it in a way that everything makes sense. How we speak, why we say what we say, why we don't say what we should say. And we didn't have anyone to tell us, because the language told us. But it didn't speak to us vocally. Not in a way that we could hear it with our ears.
No.
But it spoke to us internally, didn't it?
It did, yeah.
And everyone's trying to find that show, that paragraph, that language that unlocks the freedom that is available to us right now.
Yeah.
And it's written in the words.
You
don't have to get someone to write it for you.
No.
You just see it for yourself.
Don't give your power away. I got a letter this morning saying, thank you for the conversation we had over the phone. We're waiving all the charges. That's because
you wouldn't give up.
I took my power back.
You didn't give up. You didn't submit.
No, I wasn't.
You didn't submit.
I wasn't going to bend over. No.
You admitted.
I did.
You admitted.
I did.
You admitted that you were late.
Late. I was, yes.
See, once you admit, you never have to submit.
Nope.
Okay. Now they want to permit. All right. They want the permit.
They do.
But you don't have to.
No.
You don't have to, because they're just using your ignorance as their power.
Yep.
They don't have any more than you have.
They don't.
I hope that helps. I hope somebody gets something. I know our little show just gets a few little listeners and a couple of comments.
Well, it's our truth. We've said this before.
It is. We put it down there because we know it's different to what most people are getting.
Yeah.
And we never expect to be very popular doing this.
Nope.
Because we know that if you've listened all the way through and you've listened a number of weeks now, we know that you are finally looking in that mirror, because you wouldn't come back for the next week if you weren't looking in the mirror. And maybe you're not enjoying it, and maybe you don't think it's got any value, but we think it's got value, which is why we share it.
Yeah.
The language that you want to teach you what you need exists in the word that you look at. You just can't hear it. For another week, my friend.
Yep. Good night from me.
And good night from me. Thank you to everybody on Awake and Shaziz and Blog Talk. We do value your time. Thank you for giving it to us.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.